What we call the shadow, that's singular. It's not really the best term, because the shadow is really a realm in which all the parts of us that society frowns upon, and then when we learn by our superego, which embodies these standards, we don't like about ourselves. So the shadow realm is where all of these legitimate parts of ourselves are cast. You wouldn't have a shadow archetype without the group. When we were absorbed in the plasma of the group as ancestral man, in the early stages, and there was no individuality, because there's no individual consciousness at all. The archetype is in domination, the collective factors dominate, so what we know as individuality doesn't even exist. Now that was the way it was for literally millennia. We as individuals is a tiny blip in history, but during the time when you were absorbed in the crowd decided what traits that you had were taboo. And it remained that way even after the advent of ego individualism, right up to today, and still it happens. The crowd determines, starting with mom and dad, what parts of yourself you must banish. So anytime you talk about a shadow, you're talking about a crowd. They go together. They can't exist apart. No crowd, no shadow. So shadow work is getting the fuck away from the crowd. Does that look like what's happening today? No. The crowd is more powerful now than it ever was before, which means that the individual member of the crowd is going to be more impoverished, because that crowd, whether you like it or not, is going to determine what is correct behavior.